Thank you, Chuck, members of the dais, sports fans. I have a personal friend that just came in for the game, Bob Kowalkowski, played guard with me for 9 years at the Detroit Lions. And he said, Ed, he says, you know, for the first time in 10 years of being out of football, he says, I think Chuck Knox is going to say something nice about you. Chuck, thank you very much. You know, it feels good to be back in Altoona here. I've had a chance to meet a lot of good friends and people that I haven't seen for a long time. And I think I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee here that got together and got this organized. And I think it's a great idea, and I think that the people of Altoona will appreciate this, especially to see some of the people that come back year after year. And I also feel that the athletes coming back will also have a great time. So I thank them very much. I may seem to be a little nervous up here, and I am. I'm about as nervous as the time back in 1970 when we had to play the Cincinnati Bengals. And there was a tackle that came out of Penn State by the name of Mike Reed. And being the senior member out of Altoona, I had to try to have a good game. And Mike and I'll never forget the first quarter. We exchanged pleasantries, and we'd say, nice block and good job. About the second quarter, Mike told me, he says, Flanagan, he said, you know, if they had an all-pro team for holding, he says, I'd name you number one. And I says, you know, Mike, if you keep jumping off sides, I says, you better quit about football and get back to that piano of yours. So, but, you know, being up here, it's special to me, and I've had a lot of special people that really made it possible for me to be up here. And I think when I go back to my earlier coaches like John Brannick and Carl Luckner of Keith Junior High, they molded and fostered me in being a good fullback. Then I went to high school and I had Earl Strom and Ron Rickens, and they told me that I was too fat to play fullback and I had to play center. And one thing I found that when I left Altoona was I had great fundamentals. And those two people did an excellent job, and I think that's why we had such outstanding football teams back then with Coach Strom and Ron Rickens. It was just outstanding. And also, when I further got up into the pros, I had another great coach, and that was Chuck Knox. I think Chuck Knox was one of the most fundamentally sound football coaches that I've ever had. And I thank Chuck for that, and he did make me what I turned out to be, which was a little skinnier center. I've since then gained the weight, and I'm almost back to 270 now. But thank you for keeping me skinny for a while, Chuck. You know, I can go back and thank a lot of people, but I think I have to thank my first coach. And he coached me at Our Lady of Lourdes, and I was playing fullback at the time. And then when I became a center, he taught me how to snap the ball because he was a center, and that's my dad, Ed Flanagan. And my mother's also back there. And you know, it's said that a person is the result of his heredity and also his environment. And I had great parents, and Altoona was a great environment. I think that everyone that has come up through this area has been just great. The people fostered good competitive sports, and they stood behind it, and to me, Altoona is the best place to be from. And I thank you very much for this award.